Hello and welcome to DFS Coach Talk. I am Joe Sarvati, affectionately known as Coach, and today is Friday, August the 13th. Yes, a Friday the 13th for our DFS players. So is it going to be a lucky the 13th or an unlucky 13th? We're going for the lucky 13th here at DFS Coach Talk. As you see, I'm wearing my full black gear with the Coach Talk, wrong side, Coach Talk, embroidery and hat. And the reason I'm wearing the all black is my NBA Summer League team went in the tank yesterday. Just so hard to figure out. A few of these guys had Brissett not play, had a couple of guys like Carson Edwards just completely decide that he was going to take a summer league day off, I guess, but was not a great build for me yesterday, but hopefully some of the information we shared here in the podcast helped you build a winning lineup. So today I'm going to do, as usual, we cover every single game of the NBA Summer League. We have 7 games tonight. I'm going to briefly touch on each game and each team. So we'll do a 14-team breeze through here with a couple of recommendations. And then today we're going to bounce back. This Friday the 13th is going to be a really good day for us here. If you want to join us at DFS Coach Talk, Friday is always a great day to do it. You can get the 3-day pass for $10 and just ride through the entire weekend. Tonight we post a PGA weekend only lineup. Excited about that. Our guys are doing well so far. Have a massive 14-game main slate in the MLB tonight. That's going to be fun. And then, of course, we have Summer League basketball, which is my favorite. Yesterday, not so much, but every other day going forward, yes. So we're going to be positive here. So 7-gamer, we're going to go over that. So, love to have you join us. Hope you enjoy the podcast. On the way in, real quick, if you're watching this on YouTube, hit the thumbs up, hit the subscribe button. That's very important to us to move up the algorithms on YouTube, and then hit the little alert button on the upper corner. This way, every time one of our podcasts posts. Okay, no further ado. We're diving right into this sucker. 7 games. The first one starts at 4 p.m. and it's Minnesota Timberwolves and Milwaukee Bucks. Minnesota's -2. The over-under is 168.5. And the over-unders, again, pretty tight between all of them. You've got the low of 162.5 and a high of 173. So it is worth taking note. It is a 10.5 point difference, which makes a lot of difference in DFS standards. Those are the 2 extremes. We'll go over each one. Most of them are in those mid to upper 160s, but we'll pay attention to that. And none of the spreads are higher, believe it or not, than 3. So between all 7 games, nothing bigger than a 3-point spread. All right, Minnesota Timberwolves, Milwaukee Bucks. First game out of the chute. The T-Wolves have been smacking people around. They're 2-0. They killed Chicago by almost 20, and they're going for it. They've got key guys that are getting key minutes. We know that Jalen Noel is one of those guys, and we're expecting him to step back up. For the T-Wolves. And then we've got McDaniels and Knight. Those 3 are the key guys. Bowen possibly, maybe not. But Noel, Knight, and McDaniels for the T-Wolves are the real deal. And that's Noel, the point guard for the T-Wolves. So he is playing tough. Not the Bucks, Noel, but this is just so there's no confusion there. This is the T-Wolves. So those 3 guys, key off the bench, not anybody that I really want to dive on, but I think you can count on the fact that they're going for it. And 2 of those 3 are very playable, I think, in today's matchup. Okay, the second team that playing the T-Wolves are the Milwaukee Bucks. So now, not Noel, but Nowara, just so there's no confusion. I love both. So play them both. If you're confused, play them both because I'm playing them both. The Bucks also are playing decent ball. Jordan Nowara is the 26 shots the last game. You got to play him if he's going to play. Now let's talk about this for a second. This is the point where games 3, 4, and 5, or games 4 and 5, whatever it's going to be for some of these teams, they're going to sit some of their studs. That stung us right in the backside yesterday with Brissett sitting for the Pacers. He wasn't injured. He just sat. And what happens is they want to get some of their key guys, 2-3 games run with some of the young guys, and then they sit them. And again, as we know, NBA Summer League, there's not a lot of news to be had. You really have to scour all over the place to try to get that info. So double check these guys. Nowara is a guy that you wonder, he's these first 2 games, he's gotten up a ton of shots. He came off the Olympics. Will they continue to play him? If he plays, he's 100% play for me, but we want to make sure of that. And that goes for a lot of the guys that are the second and third year guys that played well in the first couple of games. They may want to rotate out. So we're going to be watching that. You can, if you want to follow us on Twitter, we're at DFS Coach Talk. You can get my feed at Joe Sarvadi, JoeSarvadi. And if you have any questions, if you're watching on YouTube, like I said, you can put comments in there as well, and we will answer. Okay, the other guy is Mamu Kalashvili. Can never say his name, but I gave it a shot. He played 29 minutes, 10 points, 8 rebounds. Not bad. He's getting the big minutes. Price is okay, so somebody to at least look at. The other really 2 guys that I would consider are Randolph and Pinson. They're both getting upper 20s minutes, which puts them in play, and they're playing pretty decent ball. Pinson did have 13 and 6 with 5 big steals. So for the Bucks, Nowara slam dunk if he plays. We'll call him Mamu, definitely a potential play. Randolph and Pinson not out of the question. Okay, game 2. Miami Heat versus the Utah Jazz. Heat -2. It's a 165.5 over under. Let's look at the Heat. We see big minutes for all 5 of their starters played 30-plus minutes in the last game. Miami's 2-0. They're going for it. They're one of those 4 teams that we talk about that are going for it. So all 5 guys are going to get a mention here, and I think they're all rosterable, to be honest with you. I'll give them to you in order. Strus, who is another one of those candidates, playing phenomenal ball, a second-year guy. Is he going to sit? We need to know that. If he's going to play, he's fantastic play. He got 22 shots up again and is tough. Yurtseven is playing great ball, 23 and 11, 34 minutes. He's a huge plus. The guy that's been disappointing throughout this whole thing and getting big minutes is KZ Okpala. He was in the rotation for a while, even started a few games for the Heat last season, but I have not liked the way he has looked, and he is not on my list. Garrett's been tough, and Giroux has been tough. Those 2 guys you can consider, and possibly Carter off the bench. But for me, really it comes down to 4 guys. Strus and Yurtseven are my 2 favorites, and then a possibility for Garrett and Giroux. Okay, on the other side of the ball, we've got the Utah Jazz, and let's look at some of their guys. They are not a real strong team. They did pull out a victory to go to 2-0, even though they're not very stacked. But the guys you can look at, Azubuike was really a man amongst boys in there. He only had 11 and 8, which is still solid in 31 minutes. But man, he looks like a mini Shaq out there against some of the guys. So certainly a possibility there. Hughes has been steady in getting 30 minutes, as has Brantley, Forrest. Those 4, I would say, are the top level for the Jazz. Dakota Mathias and Teague possibly as secondary, more value plays. But Jazz, I think are decent plays in this game and have a few guys you can roster. Okay, game 3. Pelicans -3 against the Cavaliers. It's a 166 over under. The Pelicans, couple of guys here that I like. Murphy has been very solid for them. He's had some double doubles. He's getting 30 minutes plus. Kyra Lewis and Najee Marshall, love those guys. Again, you got second-year guys that were in the rotation last year. We need to make sure they're going to play, but they're both tough. Really, Pasternak, I like. He was only 8 and 8 last game, but I think he's a double-double waiting to happen. And off the bench, just, not enough minutes to make an impact. So for me, I would rank it tied with Lewis and Marshall if they play. If one of them sits, you got to really love the other one. And then Murphy 3rd and Pasternak's 4th. But certainly you can play those guys. I think that they'll, especially if one of them sits, then it elevates the other guys even more. But even if they all play, they are playable. All right, the Cavaliers on the other side. You've got Evan Mobley, the top pick for the Cavs, who they're saying is going to play next to Josh Allen this year, which will be interesting. He played 31 minutes, 14 and 7, but he did have 6 assists. I mean, he can play all the way around. If they keep giving him 30-plus minutes, I think he's a great play. He's expensive, though, but I like him. Cavalieri, we've been playing, and he just has not been that good. 1 for 6 from the field, 4 points. So probably going to pass on him unless Mobley sits for some reason. Okoro is tough. Only 15 and 5 last game, but a lot of upside. He's expensive, but I do like him. Thomas and Stevens have both been starters, good minutes, and have contributed. So decent prices on both those guys. Blewett off the bench for the Cavs, played 23 minutes at 14 points, 4 rebounds. He's a nice player. I'm surprised that he has not gotten a more of a look, but as a real flyer, especially GPP play, he's tough. So in review, Mobley and Okoro, if they play, are 1-2. Stevens and Thomas and Blewett are the next 3 that I think you can you play any of the 3 of them and feel comfortable that they're going to contribute overall. Okay, let's see here. We go to game 4. Golden State Warriors at the Oklahoma City Thunder, not at, and they're in Vegas. Golden State -2.5. It's a 168 number. And let's look first at the Golden State Warriors. This is the team, we mentioned it last time, 11 deep, nobody getting 30 minutes at all. So, what do you do there? Generally, you punt. Kuminga's been the best. He's their top pick, 28 minutes. He's the guy to go to. And Moody is also tough as far as first-round pick. They both got combined for 32 shots, but they're not blowing it out. And Moody only got 23 minutes. The other youngster, Jessup, decent. And then Gary Payton II. I mean, he's trying to make a team. He had a left-handed dunk in that last game. If you didn't see it, look it up on YouTube because he went between 2 big guys, just brought it back left-handed, cocked that wrist, and just had a second gear. It was a beautiful dunk. But Payton, I would expect to continue to play because he's trying to get a contract and hasn't gotten one yet from somebody, whether it's, the Warriors or not. But, after that, the bench, just all 15 minutes, not going to recommend them. So for me, if they play, it's Kuminga, Moody, Peyton the second, and possibly Jessup is the other player that can score the ball, and he also can assist. So some good options there. Wouldn't go much deeper than that. I think it's just a little bit too risky if you go beyond those main guys. Just too much split. All right, Oklahoma City Thunder. Interesting team here as well. Maladon last time, man, we put him in there. He was 2 for 11 from the field, 1 for 7 from 3, only 5 points. So don't know what happened there. I still think he's a good play. If he continues to play 30 plus minutes, he's going to get hot. I mean, he can shoot the ball. Again, second-year guy. Let's make sure he's in there. Man has been a nice surprise for them. He got up 15 shots, most shots on the team. He and Wiggins off the bench got up 16 shots. So I put Man and Wiggins both as potential plays, decent minutes, lot of shots, and both could do very well. Another guy that I'm going to add into the group here, he was only 8 points, 4 rebounds, but he did get up to 26 minutes, and that's the big power forward, Robinson Earl. Something to consider here at a good price with some good potential. Brown Jr., definitely a step back, and not going to quite go with him here. So Maladon, if you want to look for a bounce back game, Man, Wiggins, and Robinson Earl would be the guys to consider, in my opinion. All right, before we go to the final 3 games, sign up with us. We need you to jump aboard with us at dfscoachtalk.com. You can sign up for as little as 3 days. We'd love to have you. We have a phenomenal community. Tomorrow is our weekly meeting. We have at 10 a.m. Eastern every Saturday. Everybody jumps on, and we go through strategy, contest selection, bankroll management, all the things that make you a successful DFS player. And we discuss those in an open forum every Saturday. So if you jump in today, you can hop in that meeting tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Eastern. Again, lots of options for memberships. We're about to announce our NFL football membership coming up for the season. And remember, when you join Coach Talk, this is unique with us. You get everything that we offer. Every membership is all inclusive, even the 3-day $10 membership. So every sport, every lineup, every podcast, all the content, any of our projections, ownership, all of that is yours for all sports when you join our community. So check us out, dfscoachtalk.com. If you are watching this on YouTube, again, quick thumbs up, quick subscribe, hit the alert button. If you're listening to us where all podcasts can be found audio-wise, whether it be Spotify, Stitcher, Podbean, iHeart, Apple Podcasts, iTunes, you name it, please take a second for any of those spots where you can put a quick 5 stars and a quick message, just a couple of words. We do a giveaway, a 1-week all-access membership to Coach Talk at the end of each month. So we're almost at the halfway point of August. That drawing will be coming up here in a couple of weeks. So please take an opportunity to do that. Again, you can find us on Twitter at DFS Coach Talk, and I am at Joe Sarvati. 3 games left. New York Knicks and the Detroit Pistons. The Knicks -2.5. 173 is the over-under here. So this is our big number, this Knicks Pistons game. So is that going to affect things? I like this game, I got to admit, not just because it's the largest number. I just think it is a competitive game with some guys that are getting good minutes. The Knicks are 2-1, and they're using Toppin, Sims, Grimes, and Quickly a lot. Selden and McBride are also getting some minutes, so they're really playing 6 guys. That's it. The rest of the bench, 3 guys played 9, 8, and 4. So of all the teams in the summer league, and it's every team, The Knicks have leaned on their main guys more than anybody else. So for me, a lot of times minutes equal money, usage equals money. You're getting Toppin in 35 minutes, 17 and 11 again. Definitely a guy you have to consider. Do any of these second-year guys sit? That's what we have to double check. And I know I'm being repetitive, but we have to scour. You got to be in our Discord up until lock, and we're going to identify as best we can anybody that has the potential of sitting, because that is a big hurdle at this point in the summer league. We have to make sure and not take a zero. And, sometimes it's impossible, but we're going to do the best we can to not allow that to happen. We'll call it the Brissett factor. After yesterday, when my eyeballs popped out of my head and my head spun around when I saw him on the bench sitting there sipping some Gatorade and not playing. But we're going to do the best not to allow that to happen, and we're going to be watching this Knicks news very closely. First two guys you got to consider, Quickly and Toppin. They both were in the rotation for the Knicks. They're both getting massive minutes and usage. And if they stick with this six-man rotation, I think you play them both. I actually even like adding a third Nick, and it's either Sims, Grimes, or McBride. Those would be the three I'd go to. Not going to go to Selden. He's a sixth of those guys, in my opinion. But bring on the Knicks. I'm ready to roster them up, and I think it's a good play in a game that should be, of all the games, somewhat more up and down than any other game. And that takes us to the Pistons, who they do go a little bit deeper, and it's a little confusing because, you have Killian Hayes and Saban Lee basically splitting the game at point guard. That's a big deterrent for me, which is going to eliminate them in my book. Obviously, the number one overall pick, Mr. Cunningham, is a great pick, but let's see if he's playing. He may be shut down. We don't know. We know Josh Green has a sore hamstring. He's not going to play anymore. But Cunningham, we need to check that and see. Again, he's dominated possessions and shots. If he plays, he's a great play. Sadiq Bey, I don't know why he's playing at all, let alone playing each of these games. He would be my biggest candidate of all the players to sit today. But for some reason, if he does play, man, you just got to fly to him. I mean, every game he's hammering the stat sheet and getting 30-plus minutes. So it's going to be key to see the rotation here. So the guys for me that I'm considering in this game, this is if they all play in this order: Cunningham, Bey, and then Doumbouya. I'll say it right one of these times. Sekou Doumbouya. He is a guy that's, I think, ready to have a bigger game. He's getting decent minutes. Especially, remember, some of these guys will elevate way up if anybody sits. So, again, we'll follow that closely. But those are the guys in play for me. All right, we have two games left. Memphis and Sacramento. Memphis -2, over under 168. Let's look at the Grizz. We've got our man that hasn't let us down yet, and that's Xavier Tillman. Let's hope he's not the next Brissett, but we're going to watch it. He played 32 minutes, tough as hell. Definitely a guy you want to consider. Desmond Bane, been fantastic. Certainly a guy you want to consider. John Conchar, he's been tough. 34 minutes with 11 rebounds, 12 points, double-double for him. Those three guys top the list. I also like McDermott. I've liked McDermott even last year. He's a scorer. He had 4 or 5 from 3 this last game. His price is right, and I've still got him circled. Williams is having a really nice summer league. He had 19. He and McDermott tied for the high score for them in the last game. So for me, if Tillman plays and Bane plays, you look at those two right off the schneid. And then the other 3 guys that are super playable to me, I'm sorry, 2 guys. Well, no, I'm gonna say 3. It's Conchar, Williams, and McDermott. I'm gonna say all 3. I like this team. I like this game. Could easily have two guys from each side. This game could represent almost half my roster or close to it. All right. We're going to go to the Sacramento Kings on the other side of the ball, and I'll explain to you why I like this couple of guys here. They, of anybody, have this massive bench. They played 15 guys the last game. Not a good DFS formula. 22 minutes was the tops for any guy on their team. So definitely a lot to be worried about. However, I'm interested to see if they focus a little bit more now that they know they have a shot in this thing. They're 2-0, and I think they maybe shorten the bench a smidgen. I like King, even though he only played 22 minutes. Ramsey has been fantastic. And then Mitchell, the Baylor point guard that won the national championship, he's also been a monster. So, and, after that, you could consider Metu. He's been fine. But for me, it's King, Ramsey, and Mitchell, and I'd love to have two of those guys because where they all played 22 minutes, literally all three of them played 22 minutes last game, I think, the chance to go to 3-0 and get into this, the Kings need all the positive vibes they can get. I think those 22 minutes go to like 28, maybe even 29. And they're in that scenario, I think King, Ramsey, and Mitchell are terrific. So keep an eye on them. That could be a big swing part of this slate. Last game. Lakers Clippers, Battle of LA. And I know from being out there in Vegas Summer League, when the two LA teams play, that place is hopping because you have tons of LA fans pouring into Vegas for these Summer League games. This one's interesting. It's Lakers minus 1.5, and it's 162.5, the lowest number on the board. Last game, the two LA teams probably going to be a little overowned. So I'm not going to race myself to play these two teams, especially when they're utilizing their bench. I don't trust anybody, and I doubt that I'm going to have exposure. And I know some people out there are like, you have to have guys in the late game of the night. You have to. You know what? My advice I always give to our members, and I feel very strongly about it, I don't care when teams play. I don't care if they're all in the first game, all in the last game. I'm putting everything through all the rigors of everything from statistical analysis to matchups to eye test, you name it, and building my best roster. If it's weighted early or weighted late, that doesn't matter. Now, when it's regular season and you can pivot and you want to leave yourself some options for some questionable guys, or if you're playing and you're behind and you want to take a little more risk and make a change, all of that's fine. But that doesn't really fly in the Summer League because it's such a crapshoot anyway. You can't really plan for it. So my advice in the rest of of the Summer League here is don't even pay attention to the time of the games. Get your best guys that fit into all of that criteria and then roll those guys out. And wherever they may be in the schedule, that's fine. But again, so the first side of this with the Lakers, Kaycock is okay, 14-4, but only 24 minutes. Everybody played limited minutes, including Reeves and Robinson, McClung, who just signed with them. Queen got some extra minutes up to 22. I just don't like anybody here. I don't trust the minutes, and I think that it's going to be a huge rotation and one that I don't even want to mess around with taking a chance of getting somebody with, one of those 5-minute stints. Not much different for the Clippers. They're playing 9 guys, pretty good minutes. When you get 3 guys over 20 minutes off the bench, it's concerning. And they had nobody blow up and do great the last game. They have not been scoring points. They are not one of the better teams. They're 0-2 and struggling. Oturo's been okay. Scrub has definitely been their best player. If you're going to put one guy out there, it's got to be either Scrub or Johnson. Those are the only two worth diddly, in my opinion. Scrub and Johnson, 1, 2, and everybody else way behind. not crazy about coffee or Oturo or Boston off the bench, just not playable enough on a huge slate like this. So may go with no one here. If I do go with a guy, it'll either be Johnson or Scrub. All right, my friends, that is the 7-game slate, all 14 teams. We're going to go from the all black to the all white tomorrow because we're going to be celebrating some victories. We're due in this summer league to just kick it, and we're going to do it. So we'd love to have you. DFSCoachTalk.com. Love to have you join us. So for the entire Coach Talk family and team and my basketball partner in crime, Mr. Andrew Hansen, I would like to say thank you for joining us today, and join us again tomorrow when we look to crush it in NBA DFS Summer League.